Welcome to our webinar on legacy giving, focusing specifically on capital gains. Many of us have highly appreciated assets, whether they be securities or bank accounts or real estate, that we want to now enjoy the income from or we want to get rid of, but we don't want to pay that 20% capital gains that come with it. So today we're going to talk about different opportunities that are available to take that asset and either get a big tax break, support your favorite charities, support ministry, and also potentially get an income stream. So you've been invited to this, or you've happened upon this because you are already familiar with our ministry, and the way we get supported is by nice supporters like you who believe in our ministry and want to support what we do, which is advancing religious freedom, the sanctity of human life, and advancing and protecting the family. So many of the things we do involve us going to court, and for many years we've lost our rights because we have not been in the courtroom as Christians. So the mission of Liberty Counsel is to be there to represent the Christian worldview, and also going back to the basics of our laws. And we have seen many victories and many things turned around as a result of us showing up. In history, we have not even been in the courtroom, and secular attorneys and secular judges have argued these cases that have affected us, whether it be abortion or traditional marriage or free speech. So your legacy can be defined as what you hand down from one generation to the next. It's been statistically shown that most of our family and friends, 2 generations down, they won't even know who we are. They won't remember what we stood for. So the purpose of this webinar and being wise about how you give is to look at leaving a legacy that could potentially affect many generations, even if they don't know our name. The way I define legacy, my favorite definition is planting a tree knowing that you will never enjoy its shade and never enjoy its fruit, but future generations will. So if we are not funded, or any missionary for that matter is not funded, we simply don't have the resources to go. There are many court cases that we would like to be involved in, that we should be involved in, but we just have limited resources. So we do appreciate your support, and thank you for your love of our ministry. And we're just talking today about better ways, different ways to do that in a tax efficient manner. So capital gains, real simply put, would be the increase on any capital asset that you have from when you bought it to when you sold it. That is the gain, and that is subject to tax. So capital assets would include stocks, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, real property, and business. So for example, if you bought a stock for $100 and you want to sell it for $150, then it would be subject to a capital gains tax. Now there's a lot of moving parts about determining how that tax is calculated, but it is something that you need to think about. So short-term capital gains, which means that you sell it within 1 year, is just taxed as regular income. So it would just go right into your income column when you do your taxes, and it would be taxed at whatever your income tax rate is. Long-term capital gains is everything over 1 year and is adjusted based on your income and is taxed as followed. So for single persons, there is 0 capital gains tax on everything up to $49,450, and for married, everything up to $98,900. All can be sold tax-free. Once you get over that threshold of taxable income, now it goes up to 15%, and you see the numbers there, or everything over 5 to 600,000 and change is 20%. So you do want to be mindful of your income to understand the capital gains tax when you want to sell an appreciated capital asset. Now, legacy giving from capital assets at death is actually pretty easy because this is the only asset where it, upon your death, now becomes tax-free to your beneficiaries. So your beneficiaries upon your death get what we call a step up in tax basis, and it goes therefore completely free either to your family, your favorite ministry, or any other beneficiary. And again, we're talking about all sorts of capital assets, whether they're investments, real estate, life insurance, usually not subject to income tax, or capital gains. But we do need to be aware of this when we go to sell an asset, because we want to make sure that we don't end up with a big tax bill that we were not anticipating. So an example, you buy a capital asset for $100 and it's now worth $150. So if you sell it or gift it to somebody else, you also gift them your cost basis of $100. So when you go to sell it or the recipient of your gift goes to sell it, then it's a $50 gain. If it gets distributed because of your death, then your beneficiaries would get a step up in cost basis. And so the date of death value of 150 is now their new cost basis, and they could turn around and sell it completely tax-free. Another option is to, if you want to realize the tax break and take advantage of the value of this asset during your lifetime, then you can gift that to charity, all or part of it. And there's various tools that we may implement to do that. So it's if it's subject to capital gain, and there's no age limit on this like IRAs. So if you own a business or real estate or stocks or anything of that nature, then this would be something that you can use to do that. So you can make an outright gift to the charity of your choice and get the tax write-off. So let's say, for our example, that you have 2 rental homes. You could sell one and then not, or if you don't like the idea of paying taxes on it, you could gift one house to charity and claim the tax deduction on that, and that would oftentimes wash out all or most of the tax deduction, and you could sell the second house. So that would dramatically decrease your tax impact because you've got the tax break. Now, another thing that a lot of people consider when it comes to stocks and other securities is you could gift it now, turn around and buy new stock and thereby get the tax break now, and then reset the cost basis because you're buying new stock of equal amount but at today's dollars. And I know this is smaller, but this just gives other examples of ways that you might want to generate an income stream from these assets. So one approach would be to sell the asset, and we could do it in a way where it is protected income for life. At your death, the income at the death of the income beneficiaries, which could be you and one other person, the balance would go to your named charity. But because the charity receives this gift in the future, then you don't get the full tax deduction, but you would get a prorated one based on when the IRS says you're supposed to die, which again is 83.3. So for example, if you gift the house to charity and receive a lower tax deduction because you want the income stream, then the charity could invest that, whatever the proceeds are after they sell it, and maybe get a 6% return. So now you could turn that $500,000 into a tax deduction, which you could spread out over 5 years, and a guaranteed protected income stream of $30,000 a year for the rest of your life. At your death, or you and one other person. If you use an annuity to do this, then the balance would go to your designated charities because you've made an irrevocable gift to charity. Other different tools that we may include or may use to do this would be a charitable gift annuity. Now that's unique because you're limited to only 2 lives that you can use to do this. You can do some sort of charitable remainder trust, which has the advantage of being able to use more than 1 life, but has the disadvantage of having a maximum term of only 20 years. For those that have a big estate tax issue, you could also do a charitable lead trust. It is not subject to the 20-year maximum, and what that would do is it would give the income stream to charity, and then at your death, all or most of the taxable benefit of the asset is now washed out, and you would not have estate taxes, or they would be significantly reduced. Another option that a lot of people do if they like the flexibility of giving to charity now, but maybe they would like to give to multiple charities or have the flexibility to change the charity, is it's fairly easy to set up a donor advised fund. So it is in and of itself a charity, and you can name it like the Smith Family Legacy Fund, or some people use a Bible verse. You can name the fund whatever you want. You can stack the donations all in 1 year and then give them out over a number of different years. You can name your children as successor advisors so that you can have that family legacy of your values and your beliefs going on to the next generations. And it's fairly easy as changing a life insurance beneficiary. You can name, for example, 4 or 5 charities, and down the road you can change your charities and still not lose the tax benefit of making this gift. And now you have a taxable gift, taxable deduction, which you can spread out over 5 years. Stacking tax deductions, what I just mentioned before, is a lot of people don't itemize, but you could, using the donor advised fund, you could make a bigger gift. Say if you know a family business is selling, or you have highly appreciated stock that you now want to turn into an income stream, you could do it all in 1 year using a donor advised fund, and then get the tax deduction all in 1 year, and still have the flexibility of making your charitable gifts year by year in the future. So for reference purpose, the standard deduction is $32,200 for a married couple and $16,100 for a single person. So if you are not gifting away or having deductions over those amounts, then you are getting no tax deduction, no tax benefit from this gift. But you are able to do that by stacking these deductions and making your big gift all in 1 year, and then spreading out your charitable giving over future years. So everyone is a philanthropist. As we've talked about, you are going to pay taxes either to the government or to your favorite charity. And since you are leaving everything behind, then what we're hoping that this information will help you determine is ways to give in a more efficient manner and maximize the impact of these gifts to your charities, and take money that would otherwise be going to the government and give them to funding the kingdom instead. Life is not a marathon. We are not just running and then when we stop, everything stops, but it's a relay race. We are stewards of God's money, and these are different tools that you can use to leave a legacy of blessing and wisdom to the next generations, instead of just leaving them money with no legacy, no indication of your values or your beliefs. Legacy giving is just simply your final act of stewardship. Your time ends as steward of God's money, and legacy giving is determining where your legacy will go next and preparing future generations by letting them see what you valued and giving them the wisdom that go along with the assets that you are passing along to them, and maybe would include taking a financial planning course, taking a financial peace legacy giving course. There's all sorts of things that you can do to leave that legacy of blessing. So we want to store up our treasures in heaven. We don't want to leave them all here. And the reality is the only thing we get to keep, the only thing we get to bring to heaven with us is people. So we want to make sure that we use God's resources to bring as many people to heaven as we can. Speaking of resources, these free resources are available to you on our website, lcgiving.org. I would advise you to take advantage of these. They are all free to you. There's an asset summary worksheet. There's a memorial planner so that you can let your family know what your memorial plan is. There's a letter of hope and comfort to go along with your healthcare surrogate, your advanced directives. We also have a Christian will introduction, which you can take with our blessings and take it to your own attorney when you do your own documents. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any needs in the future, you have our phone number and website. Feel free to contact us, and we would be happy to help you with your legacy giving needs. God bless you.